Hi there, students. Refrain. To refrain. A refrain. Well, refrain has two different meanings. We have it as a verb to refrain from doing something, to hold yourself back, not to do something, not to say something. So, please refrain from smoking. Could you refrain from swearing in here? I'm always trying to get students to refrain from translating from their native language. So to refrain, to desist, to abstain, to curb, to forbear even. Okay, I think, please could you refrain from doing that? I think this is a nice, polite way of asking somebody not to do it. Let's see, don't do that, do not do that. As an imperative, directly, it sounds very direct, and you can make your request a little bit more formal and a little bit more polite. I refrained from saying what I thought because I knew he was going to be upset. The British really do tend to refrain from giving their opinion if they don't like something. The situation was so funny, I could not refrain from laughing. I couldn't stop myself from laughing. So notice, to refrain, a regular verb. To refrain from is the preposition that you need to use. Okay? And probably this meaning of refrain, it's slightly formal. Maybe 6.5 in formality. If you're using it in the pub, you're going to sound very formal, a bit pompous and haughty. Please could you refrain from doing that? In the pub informally, please don't do that. But in a more, in a semi-formal or formal situation, refrain is a really good verb to use. And notice this meaning of refrain comes through French, refrainer, meaning to restrain. Notice in French, freiner, to brake, the brakes of a car. And this comes from Latin, frenum, the bridle, or to bridle a horse. So it stops it. Now, the other meaning of refrain is a verse in a song that repeats at intervals through the song at the end of each stanza. So, for example, I've been a wild rover for many a year, and I've spent all my money on whiskey and beer, and now I'm returning with gold in great store, and I will never play the wild rover no more, and it's no, nay, never. This is the refrain. No, nay, never, no more will I play the wild rover. No, never, no more. And then we have another stanza. I went to an alehouse I used to frequent, and I told the landlady my money was spent. I asked her for credit, she answered me nay. She said, custom like yours I can get any day. And then the refrain again. And it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more will I play the wild rover. No, never, no more. Okay, so in the song it's the bit that repeats, yeah? You can also have this in a piece of music as well. Maybe there's a melody that keeps repeating. So you have a different bit of music and then a melody that repeats and then a different piece of music and the melody repeats again. This would be a refrain. Now from this meaning we use a refrain to mean something that somebody is always saying. A proverb or an idea that is always repeated by a person. So as a teacher, one of my refrains is please don't translate. Yeah, refrain from translating. Okay. Or the great American refrain that anybody can become president if they're rich and powerful. Okay, so a refrain. His refrain was always be good or be careful. So this is an idea that somebody is always repeating, yeah, or a proverb or something, a catchphrase that they're always using, and this you would call their refrain. This refrain comes from Latin, refringere, which means to break to pieces. So yeah, you're breaking the song up into pieces. Yeah, and that's the idea. A refrain. How formal is this? I would say it's probably ever so slightly technical. Maybe a 6 out of 10, but you could use a refrain, both meanings, the saying and the verse, in an informal conversation and a very formal document. So, flexible again. Okay? So, to refrain from doing something, not to do it. Would you please refrain from translating from your own language? And then a refrain, something that somebody is always saying again and again. Or a verse or a piece of music that repeats and repeats during the piece. So there you go, refrain. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating. Don't refrain from giving me a rating. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Refrain. And it's no